the sun is just starting to climb up over the treetops. And it's gonna be a beautiful day, that's plain to see.
Welcome to Bill Dance Outdoors, America's most popular and longest running TV fishing show.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.
Welcome back to part 2 of Another Day with the Fishman. Fisheries biologist Freddy Langford is our host guest again this week. When it comes to designing a new lake or pond, or just improving what you already have, this man is the authority on transforming your waters into big fish growing factories. Let's get back into the boat with Bill and Freddy and see what we can learn this week.
Do you believe green water grows bigger fish than clear water?
Green water grows bigger fish. Clear water, like you might have, say in this area we mine for sand. And those sand mine lakes, sand has no nutrient value. It's inert, it's not soluble. So
the mountain lakes like Dale Hollow, like Center Hill, like Table Rock, your mountain reservoirs, your highland reservoirs, deep clear lakes you can see 15, 20 feet deep versus say a green lake, a fertile lake.
if it's not too green, if it's got phytoplankton, that's plant food, and there are fish that can utilize that plant as food and turn that plant into fish protein, which another fish, largemouth bass, eats. So a lake with a moderate plankton bloom, and I don't like pea soup ones that you can't see but that far in the water, but a lake with a moderate plankton bloom
A
is
green,
the best,
a light green.
light green color, Kool-Aid green color with some visibility. That's the best way to grow bigger bass and to grow crappie and even to grow bigger bluegill, because you're just going to have a richer food chain. Phytoplankton is utilized by zooplankton, and you're just going to have more life, more opportunity for growth.
All right, let me ask you this. What do you feel about supplemental feeding, like a feeder with, say, 28 to 32% protein or even higher?
I like supplemental feeding, especially in ponds, because in a big lake, you have productivity just by the size of the area, just by the sheer surface area of the what you call the epilimnon, where the plankton grows. And if the plankton's not that dense, it's going to be a lot of it because it's a big area. If there's some plankton there, it doesn't have to be intense. It can be less dense. But if it's a small pond, you can put energy into the pond, food into the pond for bluegill, for example, or golden shiners by feeding them a food that's got enough protein, and also feeding them a pellet size that the smaller fish can eat. You want to use something that's maybe the size of a BB. That way a 3-inch, 4-inch bluegill can eat it without having to fight it. Oh my goodness, look at you.
Oh, look at this one.
Oh my.
Got him on.
Big old fat ones.
Oh yeah. Going back onto the boat again. Come up, big one. Look at this rod. This is a medium heavy rod. Look how strong this fish is. It's a strong fish right there, man.
Bill, you're right. That is a strong bass if I've ever seen one.
Look, I want you to look how hard that fish is pulling. He's pulling like a tuna.
I don't mind getting the net.
Yeah, net him, Freddy. Barely hooked. I'm gonna slide him in the net. Good boy. Look at that big old baby.
Can you tell if that's a male or a female? I'm gonna give you a test.
That female too. Look.
Posterior red pimple.
Yeah. Got some roe already started.
That's another nice one.
Time to go. See ya.
Bill Dance Outdoors. Sponsored by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Rebel, catch fish anywhere. And by Mercury Marine, go boldly. Today's Conditions Log is brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development. Come experience the kind of beauty that can only be made in Tennessee. Go online today for your free Tennessee vacation guide.
Good fish.
These fish pull hard. They got those deep, wide bodies. They pull like a permit, you know, those saltwater fish.
Going down.
They've got plenty to eat here, man. They're I was going to say they look like you, but you're not overweight that much.
I don't know which side of the boat he wants to go on. That fish is strong. What makes you so strong? I mean, what is it?
I think it's that deep body, you know, that deep, you know, the length-weight relationship is part of it. I mean, there's that resistance, kind of like, you know, catching a big brim. Yeah, a big brim makes the line sing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You through? I have to have.
You need a net?
I think I can
you
get
might.
him.
Oh, you think you can get him?
I have to have the pliers. I'm up here. That's if you had it down there, didn't you, buddy? Yeah. That's a pretty one.
My, that's a fine one.
Big fat baby. Oh, you bit me. That's okay.
It's a pretty good one.
All right, let's go back. Bye-bye. So you've seen a lot of people do this, and you've seen a lot of people make a major mistake in doing it. What is the biggest mistake that people make when they build a pond or a small lake on their property?
Probably the biggest mistake people make in constructing a lake is not to consider the watershed. You need an adequate watershed. You need a balanced watershed, and you don't want the lake designed so that the water just rushes through it. But you know, a lake that has a main axis where the water comes in and goes out, and then maybe has some side coves, kind of a diversity of shoreline so that you get a maximum of surface area with the shoreline, but you also get some static areas where it's easier to grow plankton. But you want it so that it'll also adequately flush so that you don't have a stagnant lake. But a lake without enough watershed is just hard to manage. You need a good watershed.
And take a sample cores that it doesn't leak.
Yeah, you want to be sure you're not building it on a bed of sand. And in Alabama and Georgia, Mississippi, Tennessee, they build lakes where you have to build a dam, and you have to, you know, just get a good engineer or someone that's experienced in lake construction to assist you in doing that. And a fish biologist is not necessarily the person to get that. You want a person who has knowledge in dam construction and overall site selection to advise you. So one of the big mistakes that people make is just not asking people who know more about the subject than they do.
That's right.
You should
absolutely.
consult with people. And from the point of construction to then the watershed's important, but the design of the lake as far as it having a shelf where vegetation can grow, where it's easier for fish to spawn, a littoral shelf as they call it, where rooted emergent vegetation can grow. And then you need some deep water too, especially if you're going to grow big bass, because big bass do like deep water. They like to hang out during hot summer times in some deep water.
Today's show is brought to you by Zebco, teaching America to fish since 1949. Pure Marine Odor Eliminator eliminates foul fish odors from gear, compartments, and empty live wells. And Tracker Boats, fish the finest.
Today's equipment log is brought to you by Ego Fishing and their all-new S2 slider landing nets with the most advanced handle extension technology. Take the battle to the water with Ego. Today's show is sponsored by Monster Marine Lithium. Lighter, stronger, longer. Bill Dance exclusive rods by Quantum. We have an action for you. And by Garmin. Fight your fish, not your fish finder.
Let me ask you this. Do you agree that fish that are fed grow faster and have better reproductive potential? Also, supplemental feeding helps raise a better crop of forage fish, which then increases the capacity of your lake or pond to grow and maintain a greater number of larger bass?
Absolutely, Bill. A fish that's fed is going to produce more eggs. Eggs are made of protein, and they need more protein than they would require just to maintain their own body mass and their own muscles. They need more food, the more eggs.
So a healthier fish is going to be a lot more productive.
Yeah, and you can see it. An easy way to see it is if you look at, sometimes you'll look at a bass. I've seen bass during spawning season that weren't developing mature egg sacs. The ovaries weren't filling with eggs. And you think, well, this bass should be showing that it's a female, like we talked about already. So you cut it open and guess what you find? It's full of parasites, full of roundworms. And they're just taking all the food away. The bass is getting skinny, and the ovary never fills with eggs. So that kind of proves your point, though, that if you feed a fish, you're going to at least get the egg production that it should do on an average basis. But you can actually make it produce, like a bluegill, produce more eggs than just it would on an average basis. You can increase the amount over average.
What percentage of protein would you recommend?
And feed, some people won't agree with me about this, but I've talked to a nutritionist from Cargill, and he says that bluegill, for example, are predators. It differs from fish to fish. Shiners don't need a high protein content, and neither do catfish and tilapia. But bluegill, I've used 45% protein, minimum of 40, and grown some big, fat, healthy bluegill. And that might be controversial. Some people don't use that high of a protein content, but that's what I'm using.
Use 45%.
For bluegill. We're trying to grow bigger
and you grow
bluegill.
big, you'll grow pound and a quarter.
Pound and a quarter, sometimes pound and a half.
Gigantic bluegill.
Yeah, big bluegill. It's got to be consistent. You can't just feed them haphazardly enough to kind of attract them when you want them. You need to do it consistently, especially during the warmer months. So yeah, you definitely grow more bait fish. Bluegill produce more baby bluegill when they are fed than they do, and that produces bass like this.
Look at you.
How about this?
You're so out there, you're so lucky. Look at you, just sitting there talking, just
sitting
so
there
out
talking.
there, just running your mouth and catch one. Look at this, a nice one too.
It just shows you there's just nothing to it, huh? If the fish are there.
Look at you. My man, the fish man.
That was fun.
My boy Freddy.
That was fun. So this is a little girl fish. You can see that opening right there.
Yeah.
That's a little female. And you can just imagine if she weren't getting enough to eat, then she's not going to reproduce well. Same with that bluegill that you're trying to fatten up with supplemental feed. And the thing, like we said yesterday, I think, in small ponds, you don't have the benefit of a large surface area to increase your productivity. So, but you can inject productivity into the pond with a consistent feeding program. Go lay some eggs. That was a lot of fun.
The Bill Dance Question and Answer of the Week, brought to you by Bill Dance Exclusive Rods by Quantum. Whether you're fishing for panfish, bass, catfish, or light saltwater, we have the action for you. Available at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.
Ever wondered what makes one red worm better than another? Is it something they say? Nah. Is it their expression? Absolutely not. What is it? It's where they're born and raised. The nurseries at Wormville. Tell you what, let's take a look. Big, fat, healthy, 3-inch Wormville worms.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Cast King Tri-Polymer and Hammer Braid Fishing Lines, and by Garmin Force Trolling Motors. Fish with force. Closed captioning provided by PowerPole.
The original shallow water anchor. Today's product tip is brought to you by Garmin and their GPS map series, chart plotter sonar combos with their advanced sonar technology, like Panoptic's Live Scope all-seeing sonar. You'll spend less time finding your fish.
Pure Marine odor eliminator products cut right to the source, destroying the odor-causing molecules. These eliminators can be used in live wells, storage compartments, boat surfaces, and on fishing gear without the fear of corrosion. Just spray Pure Marine on and let it dry. There's no need to rinse with water. Pure Marine, a superior odor eliminator.
Come be part of Bill Dance Digital. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube. Follow us.
So are we fishing a drop off here, Bill?
Yeah, I'm sitting up on about a 3-foot flat, and we're throwing off of a ledge.
Right.
And we're bringing the bait up it.
Right.
It's a good way to get hung, but
yeah,
they're fish I found earlier were laying right on that ledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Feel him got the fire out of him when you...
Well, there's that ledge, and there's the fish. Ooh, oh.
You got another one?
Got another one. Oh yeah, I think I got it worn out down. Oh no, I thought I had it worn out. You got down in that hydrilla. There we go. There we go. I can get this one. This one. I can handle this one. If I can't handle this one, we're in trouble. Okay.
Oh, look at that one.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
That's a Pudjo.
Well, how about that?
Look how fat that one is.
That's a fatty. Been making babies. You know what? This is actually a male.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See that little hole right there?
Yeah.
See, it doesn't stick up to the sky. It's down.
I can see it now.
Yeah, that's a fat male. That's a good sign when your males are that plump and fat, you know. Sign of good genetics.
Anytime you're fishing a worm,
here we go.
You need to always check.
You'll find some lady friends.
The eye of the worm where the monofilament comes around. I want you to look at this right here. The monofilament sometimes slides all the way around to where the wire, the eye, meets the J-bend. And it gets right over in here. And this is where it meets. And if you don't check that, sometimes during the bite, the line will bend over that. And as you fight, it'll cross itself and put pressure right there in that bend, and it'll break your line. So what you want to do periodically is check your line and bring your line straight in line with your hook. You always want your line straight with your hook, and you always want your hook and worm straight. I'm using a Lew's BB1 Pro reel, and I'm using Hammer Braid 20-pound braided line on a Bill Dance exclusive rod, a rod that we designed for Bass Pro and Cabela's. It's a 7'2" fast action rod. Extremely sensitive, extremely light. Wow, a heavy one. Not rock, it's grass. Oh boy. Back up here. Look at this, stripping that line.
You sure you got him?
Here. Ooh-wee.
Well, you're the fish catcher, you know.
I'm gonna show you a pretty one. Look how. Look at that one. Is that not a pretty one?
They've got plenty to eat here, man.
Yes, it is. Yep, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go.
With all this information from both Bill and Freddy, you can now get started planning your lake or pond improvements. So when you're ready, contact Freddy. His contact information is on the screen. We know Mr. Langford's knowledge is beneficial for healthy fish, and it fits the bill. The Bill Dance, that is. He has had a blast today with Freddy, and both have caught some impressive fish. We hope you enjoyed these 2 episodes, and will plan to join us again next week for more Bill Dance Outdoors.
Thanks for watching Bill Dance Outdoors. Join us here again next week.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.